Welcome everyone. Welcome to the Countingwell Teacher Talk show. And this show is a show where we will bring various teachers from across the country onto our platform and have conversations around how you have been innovating and bringing value to your students on helping them learn mathematics. We know that mathematics is a very, very important subject. It's a life skill more than a subject. And it's also important that we don't simply leave the children behind when it comes to being able to develop these skills. And whatever ideas and inputs that you have, I'm sure that it will add great value to other teachers in the community, and we will be able to empower them, and we will be able to give them more innovative ideas to help their students as well. So without much more ado, we will start with a quick round of introductions. Let's start with the ladies first. So Chaitali ma'am comes from Bangalore, and she was until recently with Edify School. She's a senior teacher. And ma'am, why don't you give us a short introduction about yourself? Tell us a little bit about how you started your teaching career and what you have been doing so far. You are on mute, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity given by Countingwell. It's really great where I can share my thoughts. Actually, I started my career teaching BTech and MCA students, and now coming to school level, it's a whole range from primary, not primary actually, from 6th standard onwards till undergraduate student or postgraduate students. I have seen there are lots of problem in understanding the concept in maths, and I try to help my students the way they can take the subject easily, because whenever maths comes, the phobia or the anxiety children find in it. I don't know why, but maybe the way they taught in their lower classes, or I don't know, there are certain psychological fact works. Whenever it is the maths class, they got scared of, they don't want to answer. So there are certain problems which I have experienced throughout my journey, and I have been working with them. And recently CBSE has started with that action research thing. So I think most of the teachers are aware of that. So there, while studying one or two students, actually I have understood where is the problem, what is the root cause of the problem. So I would like to discuss about that in details later on. So.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you. Welcome to the show. And we would really love to hear your ideas and what you said about root cause of the problem. That is something which is very, very important. And all of us here have been in various ways trying to help eradicate that problem and help children overcome their troubles. So over to Smita ma'am. Smita ma'am comes from, she is with Vikas School in Panipat. She's a senior teacher there. And ma'am, why don't you give us your introduction and tell us a little bit about your background and how you started your teaching career. You are on mute, ma'am.
Oh, so sorry. Good evening to everyone. Good afternoon to the Countingwell and other peer members. And it's been pleasure that we've been appointed come here and have a talk on this severe topic. And so I just like to say that I am very young in front of you all. You all are legends. Though I'm in this teaching field from past 15 years. I'm from Delhi, from Dalbari Lal Pitampura. I've been working there as a coordinator for mathematics. And now I've been appointed in Panipat, in Bal Vikas Progressive School, and taking middle classes as well as coordinating the primary section also. So my agenda and my focus is, as ma'am said, Chaitali ma'am said, that students have an anxiety of by listening the subject as mathematics. What I feel that I have an anxiety of listening the word social science. So I didn't find mathematics as an anxiety subject, but let's make it as simple as we can for the students. And because mathematics is basically based upon simplicity, as simple we make the steps also. So in the same manner, we can make the steps easier, that subject also easier for the students. So my concern is to make it related to the daily life, if it's as much as possible. And my focus is to make it more interesting rather than going for into deep core things, because rather than going for theory, if we go for in a playway method, the students will learn much more better. So my experiential learning is the main cause for me. So I'll help students to go for experience the things and then learn.
Sure, ma'am. Welcome again. And we look forward to hearing your experiences, especially around experiential learning. That is something that we have been always hearing in many forums, but when it comes to actual implementation, that experience is very, very important. So I'm sure that everybody would love to hear from you on your experiences. Over to Pooja ma'am. Pooja ma'am comes from, she's a TGT math with Bluebells Model School in Gurugram. And ma'am, why don't you give us a quick introduction about yourself? You are on mute, ma'am. Still cannot hear you. Yes, it might be your earphone or microphone. No. Can't hear you, ma'am. Maybe if you want to remove your earphone, the plug, that might help.
Am I audible?
Yes, now you are.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Now you are.
Okay, fine. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Countingwell, and everyone present here. And I'm really glad to be the part of such a talk show and where we can interact and discuss. Myself, Pooja, Chugh, and I'm working as a maths coordinator in Bluebells Model School, Gurugram. And it is being my 20th year of teaching. Journey is so long, but it is a journey of continuous learning, innovating, and innovations, experience. And last 2 years were really wonderful. Wonderful regarding we have learned so far in online teaching, online learning, all that. I mean, given us a lot of experience, and we were able to explore more that how to make maths more interesting, and how to make it more like easy for the children. So definitely, we are continuously working to implement the 21st century skills apart from experiential learning. And I was working on the project, this graphic novel. It's almost developed that, and hopefully you'll be able to see it very soon. So graphic novel is also one of like revolution. It will create, and already so many graphic novels are available to make the different topics more interesting. So I'll talk about that, and I would like to say that my approach in my classroom teaching is to make it more interesting by using different ways, and make it rather more practical. And what I feel that in mathematics, the calculations, I think, are shifted to the critical thinking now. I mean, we need to make them aware, logical thinking, critical thinking, including the blooms of taxonomy. So many other things are coming up, and we are trying to impart ourselves to rather being more like this subject should be more interesting. And the most important is to develop their like likability for the subject. I mean, the fear should be removed, phobia should be removed. That's my always like aim. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, ma'am. Welcome back to the show. And you're right. We have to work on removing the fear and phobia. And I think what you said about moving beyond just the calculation skills and taking it to the next level, which sometimes we call it the higher order thinking skills, or we might relate it with other capabilities in Bloom's taxonomy. But essentially, it is that giving the children the ability to think better and to be able to become better problem solvers, right? Not simply number crunchers. So that should be our goal. And it's great that we are starting to think in that direction. So over to you, Vinit sir. Vinit Mishra sir comes from a very prestigious school. He comes from Sunbeam, Varanasi, Sunbeam, Varuna, and he's the HOD of maths there. Vinit sir, why don't you give us a quick introduction?
Thank you, sir. I, Vinit Mishra, academic head at Sunbeam Varuna in Varanasi. And I used to take the classes also. I'm teaching there as TGT maths. And being as the academic head, I experienced nowadays teachers are wonderful. Just like these 3-4 people have already suggested many ideas to make these math classes interesting. So I think nowadays this phobia will surely be removed from our classrooms. And I would suggest teachers to add so much humor in the class. That's why I used to search different jokes related to maths, and application-based teaching should be there in the classroom. Like we used to organize this maths walk, where the students go to the different venues of the school itself, where so many mathematical concepts are used, and they used to create situations, and they frame the questions belonging to those concepts and areas. And I think nowadays maths is becoming very interesting subject for the children also. So these phobias will automatically removed if our teachers will be wonderful, and the class will be so interesting, and application-based scenario will be there in the classes. Thank you.
Great, sir. Welcome to the show. And we definitely look forward to hearing more from your experiences. So let's go to the first round. This will be a question round. So we will have 2 or 3 questions that we will go around the table and ask everybody. I'll start with Chaitali ma'am, since this is the word that I think we have commonly used. Everybody in this show has used the word phobia. So let's start with that, and let's put that aside after this. So what we have seen experience is that maths phobia especially starts to become visible in the middle school, when the children get to middle school. So what has been your experience, Chaitali ma'am, in terms of how this phobia seems to develop, and what kind of steps do you think we can take to help children not get this phobia? Let's not even talk about overcoming this phobia, right? This happens after you get the phobia. But how can we make sure that they don't even get to that stage in the first place?
Yeah, maths phobia in middle school is basically, it starts with some logical thinking, because initial stages they are learning about addition, subtraction. Those are basic things, somehow they take it. But slowly when they start working on algebra or other word problems, there they find a problem in relating the things or to relate themselves with the real world. For example, when they are working on word problems on fraction, I would like to give an example, like 1 week is equal to 7 days. So when I am asking 1 day is equal to dash of a week. So there the problem starts. What is this? So maybe 3-4 students in the classroom could answer it, and the teacher will go with the thought that yes, everybody now understood what is fraction. So then she will start, or he will start with the word problems. Now the few students, those who are average or below average, they got stuck over there. What is this? 1/7. Why teacher wrote that? But because there is some problem, they don't feel like asking shyness or some other thing. They think it's okay. Maybe it is 1/7. Okay, let's go to the next question. Like that, they start creating gap of understanding for themselves. And slowly that become a big issue when they start solving higher order problems. So converting these words or sentences to mathematical equation using numbers, using operators like addition, subtraction, There are few students, they don't even try to understand the meaning of equality sign. While solving algebraic equation, they forget to write equality sign. While solving geometry, they don't write the things logically because they think whatever I'm writing is okay. But in mathematics, we have to teach them how to think logically, one after the other. One statement is related to other statement. So mathematics, a lot of research is going on actually to teach mathematics as a second language. It's not about numbers. Students, when they read a question, they directly jump to the number, what is written there. What number? If it is a decimal number, definitely it is a very difficult question. What I found in 8th standard or 9th standard, even in 10th standard when I used to teach, I found that few students, they are unable to complete few question answer. When I have studied them, I found that they are unable to add, subtract or multiply decimal numbers because that concept is not clear to them. They don't have the idea about the place value in a decimal number. When further I have studied them, then I found that they have a doubt in normal multiplication division of whole numbers. One student suddenly one day asked me, when we are multiplying, suppose there is a 3-digit number and I want to multiply by a single digit, let us say. Then I am starting with unit place. But when I am dividing, why I am starting from the 100 place? So that much gap of learning is there for that child. So how he will complete that higher class problem solving process? So for those kind of students, for those kind of doubts, teachers need to help them from the basic level. First, we have to find out, because every student doesn't have the same learning gap. So we have to find out their learning gaps and we have to help them accordingly. That is what I have understood all these years. So I try to help them out the way they want it. And nowadays, as you know, CBSE has introduced different methods of teaching like art integration and then other things, sports and everything you have to integrate, music, dance, everything you try to integrate. So I don't know, I have tried my level best. I hope few of them would have get some benefit out of it. So that's what I have done. I have tried my best to help them out to fill their learning gap. That is important, I feel.
Great, ma'am. That's wonderful to hear. And you're right. The most important aspect of the children, especially the average children, right, is that they do not speak up in the class. They are the ones who are the quietest. And because even the teacher is under pressure to continue the syllabus and complete the syllabus, if three students say that, yes, we have understood, we assume that, yes, they have understood and let us move on. And that's where these kind of gaps start to appear. And I remember one of my experiences where when I was in 7th grade, I failed miserably in maths. Now, my class was so small, we were only 22 students in the classroom. And that was the biggest blessing we had, because the teacher knew every child and every problem that the children had. So my maths teacher used to call us home in groups of 4 or 5, and she would actually feed us, and then she would teach us. She would say, first you come, you eat, and then I will teach you maths. And that is how my learning gaps got filled. So it was filled with food and it was filled with maths.
Yes,
I feel, sir,
as a teacher, you need to be very close with the students. Then only they will come up with their doubts. Otherwise, they will not come. That is the problem with them.
Yes.
What I feel that teachers these days are more friendly. Like we are more friendly with the students, and we try our level best. That connect is most important. What I feel that connectivity with the students, reaching up to the mental level, giving them visualization, and so that they should be able to visualize the concept, and that's very important. Like we were working for the PISA concepts. We have worked with that, like Singapore maths, how with the visualization that maths improves.
Right.
And most important is now the children are very smart. They want to know why we should study, why we should why you are teaching this particular subject. So that connectivity. If you talk about data handling, immediately I would like to connect it with stats, data analysis. So they want to know the benefit, and then slowly and gradually they'll be more interested in doing that topic. First is to make them happy that why, and make them aware that why I'm taking up this particular topic. What is the real connectivity? What is the art integration? How I can integrate it with STEAM, with blend of activities, and blend of teaching aids. Maybe it is online or offline. I mean, to make it more interesting, really that makes your topic more interesting. Until 8th, I feel a lot of activities. Rather till 9 to 10, we can we should include more and more activities, maths lab concepts. So everything goes hand in hand. So overall, then I think we can expect the children to be more happy maths learner. What I think.
Absolutely, ma'am. I agree that now the children want to be more connected with their teachers as well, right? Gone are the days when teacher used to carry a ruler, and the maths teacher would be the most serious person in the school. So those were the days, right? And you could identify the maths teacher about 1 kilometer away because you can see that face. But now that's not practical. That's not possible. The teacher has to be a friend of the child as well. And that's very, very important. The children are changing, their parents are changing, their expectations are changing. And we have to become these 21st century teachers along with that. So
one thing I just need to add, whenever we enter in a class, the first thing that creates phobia in the child is what's the maths teacher will going to tell us. So once we enter in the class, it's the lightest thing that if we have a recap of what we have learned, they become very light that yes, we are knowing the fact what we have did earlier. And once they had a recap, then you can continue and you can engross them. The second fear is that they stop when they are not understanding the language of the teacher. So clarity and the linguistic skills of the teacher is most important thing. The next phobia that comes to the mind is when the child is stuck in solving the question. Here, the help of the teacher is required. That yes, we should show a braveness to the child. Yes, you have the caliber, keep calm, be patient. You're not able to write it or understand the problem right now, you'll be able to do it. I think these things, if the initial stages of the phobia gets deteriorated, then the child gradually will get more interest in the subject.
Surely. Vinit sir, your thoughts on this?
Yeah, 2-3 things like ma'am told. Teacher's patience is also very important. At that stage when the children is somewhere just need help, we need to approach them positively, and we should not scold them even if they are doing something wrong. Okay, let's have this what can we say, energy on in the child, so that he should remain interesting in the maths class. So, and that part where the child is just stuck, that part must be taken seriously by the teacher, and that should be removed. That problem should be removed immediately. Plus, appraising the child will work. If one child you have asked some question and is unable to answer, just ask little lighter question. Let him answer. Let him try. At least you give good effort, beta. You have done very well. So all these appreciation will surely attract that child towards the maths class. So slowly that phobia towards the maths will automatically be removed. And time to time, keep throwing jokes or keep adding something interesting to make the maths class lighter.
Great, sir. I think your emphasis, you repeatedly emphasize on making the class fun, and I really appreciate that. That is one thing which, especially in maths class, is something which we don't see very often, right? In fact, I recollect another situation in my maths during college.
Excuse me, one more thing.
Yes, sir. So I was saying that I recall another situation during when I was in college. We used to have, and this was one of those very serious maths professors that I had. And my classroom used to have 2 doors. So there was a very long corridor, and my classroom was at the end of that corridor. So there was no way that we could walk out of that classroom without the maths professor catching us in the act. So what we would do is we would wait near the first door and watch him cross and enter the second door. And as soon as he entered the second door, we would walk out of the first one. But it was because of, the fact that the class was not interesting. And this is what comes back to what Vinit sir is saying, that if we can make it fun and if we make it engaging, then, whether you are a child, whether you are in middle school or whether you are in college, you will always want to sit there and listen, and you will want to be a part of that learning process. So great, sir. That's a very, very important aspect of that whole teaching learning process, making it fun. So you were saying something, sir. Sorry, I probably interrupted you.
Just I forgot to add art integration, as ma'am has already suggested in her first questions. So NEP is also suggesting to add as many art form in the maths class. It is either music, it is dance, it is drawing, or it is just a playway or drama, music, whatever should be added in maths class also. So let's try to add as many as possible form of these arts. It will also make the classes interesting.
So on to the next question, back to Chaitali ma'am. What has been your experience, especially in the pandemic and post-pandemic, in terms of making technology an integrated part of the learning process? And by that, what I also want to hear is not simply the online classes, right? That was more of necessity than an actual integration of the teaching process. But how else do you think that we can integrate technology very well, especially post-pandemic? Now that we don't need, the Microsoft Teams or Google Meet or whatever, but we need technology in a different way. So what is your expectation and what is your experience of making technology part of that whole learning teaching process?
I think Pooja ma'am was talking about visualization. So that is a very good way of showing mathematics in a different way instead of book thing. Visualizing the thing, students understand the thing more easily. So videos or how mathematics is useful, if we can show them, particularly like trigonometry is a very interesting chapter where student sometimes could not relate the problem with the diagram. So when they read the question, they couldn't draw the correct diagram, whether the tower is taller or the building is located, which side of the road, all these they cannot visualize clearly while reading the question. So I think technology will definitely help by creating videos, or like ma'am was talking about something graphic notes or something.
Graphic novel, ma'am. Graphic novel.
Yes. That will definitely help them to understand how the problems can be visualized and what is the problem, how to solve it. So also we have included artificial intelligence now in our teaching methods. So we have helped them to understand different ways of a fun way of learning mathematics for particular topics that was given in the manual of CBSE. In certain chapters, we can easily integrate artificial intelligence. So they can use it, and other like creating some pattern or creating some design using mathematics can also be done by the students. So they will find it interesting, like arithmetic progression. They can understand arithmetic progression with the help of a visualization very easily. We can create a picture of something which is following this pattern. Then Fibonacci series, they can understand, they can visualize easily, they can understand how to solve the problem easily. So I think that is the way technology can help them, even after pandemic.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have started with that in pandemic. Now we can continue adding them in class also. We can explain them all those things.
Very true. The pandemic gave us that 5-year jump, right? Even though there were so many negative things about pandemic, but for education, it was that leap which happened. It helped us make that big jump, which otherwise we would have taken another 5 or 10 years to achieve. So in a way that has been a boon for the education industry at least. So over to you, Charu Smita ma'am. What is your experience with integrating technology in the classroom?
So earlier I used to say there was never work from home in teaching line, although there was everywhere. But then we come to a new challenge, and this challenge not only brings us our experiences, moreover, it brings us the new things in our teachers as well. We have learned a lot. And moreover, making them learn to the students, it will also engross our skills as well as student skills. Since in primary classes and middle classes, it was best in the use. Like we have GeoGebra, we have used Equatio, we have used many apps like Canva, and students are now actually working with those apps which are earlier were professionals. So we are really happy that students were going for web pages, websites, and they're creating their own maths web pages. So giving them as informative assessments also, and it's being the really pleasure to see students doing that. So it is actually a boon for the kids.
Great, ma'am. This is very interesting, and I would love for you to share some of these web pages with us. I think you're right. The children have, and always the children are ahead of us, right? When we think that we know a little bit of technology, they know 10 times of that, and they catch up very fast. So it also becomes our prerogative to be online or on par with them. And sometimes it's difficult, but that's the whole excitement about being tech savvy, so to speak.
So giving a presentation in an interview was a different thing, and when the child is giving a maths presentation in the class is altogether the same thing that what we experience. So it's actually the 5-year gap, that a lag that has been shifted. So it's wonderful experience that we can use as best of the ability.
True. And in fact, what you said is very good idea, right? So we can ask children to make a presentation on a maths topic by themselves. So all these things we are talking about, higher order thinking and all of that, that can be incorporated without even telling them that we are making you do higher order thinking.
So you won't imagine that students have actually, we have in holidays homework, we have already given them any innovative, any small thing in mathematics that you have in any of the topic you have seen. Click a photograph, make a presentation, show us, elaborate, and students have a variety of it. So I think it really works. Those apps which are earlier were professionals. So we are really happy that students were going for web pages, websites, and they're creating their own maths web pages. So giving them as informative assessments also, and it's being the really pleasure to see students doing that. So it is actually a boon for the kids.
Great, ma'am. This is very interesting, and I would love for you to share some of these web pages with us. I think you're right. The children have, and always the children are ahead of us, right? When we think that we know a little bit of technology, they know 10 times of that, and they catch up very fast. So it also becomes our prerogative to be online or on par with them. And sometimes it's difficult, but that's the whole excitement about being tech savvy, so to speak.
So giving a presentation in an interview was a different thing, and when the child is giving a maths presentation in the class is altogether the same thing that what we experience. So it's actually the 5-year gap, that a lag that has been shifted. So it's wonderful experience that we can use as best of the ability.
True. And in fact, what you said is very good idea, right? So we can ask children to make a presentation on a maths topic by themselves. So all these things we are talking about, higher order thinking and all of that, that can be incorporated without even telling them that we are making you do higher order thinking.
So you won't imagine that students have actually, we have in holidays homework, we have already given them any innovative, any small thing in mathematics that you have in any of the topic you have seen. Click a photograph, make a presentation, show us, elaborate, and students have a variety of it. So I think it really works.
Great, ma'am. Wonderful. That's very, very good to hear. So over to you, Pooja, ma'am. I have a very interesting question for you with regards to technology. But one of the things where Countingwell has been at the forefront is how we integrate formative assessments and technology in the classroom. So I would like to hear from you, Pooja, ma'am, that how do you feel that technology and formative assessments together, and not in context to Countingwell, but in general as well, how can that become a part of a blended learning model for the classroom?
What I feel, sir, that like pandemic time was an evolving time, and we have evolved a lot, and we have like learned a lot of new things we never imagined. So like as a part of formative assessment, we worked on quizzes, we worked on Kahoot, and we organized various quiz on these platforms, Sway, Padlet, a lot of other things to get their like feedback. And apart from that, giving them the assignments, we have Maths Lab, NIT, powered by NIT. So with that collaboration, we have sent them some assignments and from our school resources also. So we have integrated and tried to send them assignments, obviously on the Microsoft Forms also, a short test as every one was doing that way, like taking their exam. That was the only option. So lot many things we have evolved with that. But apart from that, I would like to say, yes, definitely the technology has a great role like for implementation and for clarifying the concept. But when we talk about the practice side by side, I mean, that should not be neglected, that their regular practice means once they write with the hand, I mean, they're writing their own, that should not be neglected. What I feel like after the pandemic, I could find they're very smart. They are doing on the technology. They're solving the questions. But when we say them to solve, actually in the notebook, they are lagging behind because they are missing the point. They're, like we take in class 9th, geometry concepts, they are not able to write. So that we are coming up. And for that, we are arranging the special classes for such students and giving them extra writing practice, bridging the gap. So what I feel that technology has a great importance means we have done so far. Last 2 years we have done, and for formative assessment also we have like added on the technology with them, but that should also go hand in hand. That is like one of my suggestions that we actually everyone is doing. I think after the pandemic everyone is facing that challenge that they don't want to write. So yes, giving them short formative assessments like like we are sending them the assignments, but apart from that, their regular practice is definitely wonderful.
Very true, ma'am. In fact, not just the practice of writing, I think they have even lost the practice of social interaction, right? Yes. Interacting with other children. So if you ask them to interact on Instagram or WhatsApp, they probably do it very easily. But if you put them in a bunch and say that all of you 10 kids sit together and do something together, then that is becoming a hurdle. I've heard of so many instances where the schools are now actually forcing the children to start talking. In fact, one principal told me that in their class, in their school, during the breaks, there is pin drop silence, and the teachers are worried that why is there silence in the break? In the break, there should be noise, right? Kids should be making noise, and the teacher should be asking them to keep quiet. Now here, it's the other way. Teacher is saying that please tum kuch thoda awaaz karo, and don't be so quiet.
So it is practically happening now. Kids, they don't want to go out in the evening. They want to be their gadgets. So
right.
Slowly and gradually, like parents are also worried, and in the classes also, although they're not bringing gadgets, but that the interaction slowly they're coming back, and they'll come up definitely. That was the time. But initially, yes, everyone faced the problem. They were not able to gel with each other, and also the post-COVID effects. They can't share anything and maintain a gap. So, not many issues were there, but now they are coming up, and we are hopeful that everything is almost on the track.
Yeah, absolutely. Children are very resilient. They are the ones who bounce back the fastest. So hopefully we will see that whole chirpy atmosphere in the schools.
So there was one more benefit of this pandemic that we correlated to Countingwell. Students had a very good example of formative assessments. We usually happen to have it in our school, and once they've been awarded also, they get so motivated and appreciated. Yes, we can look forward for it. And post-pandemic also, even they are right now also in the habit of doing those assignments and those practice. So that also makes them really curious that what is our score and what matches we have crossed all. So that also makes an add-on.
So that is a sort of gamification, right? We make them feel that they are playing, but while they're doing that, we make sure that they are learning and they are always improving themselves. And that's the way of encouraging and motivating the children. So over to you, Vinit sir. You have been talking about fun, so let's talk about that, right? How can we make technology element a part of that, having fun in the classroom or outside the classroom, but as part of the learning process?
Yeah. So this pandemic will be supposed as the black time of this history, but really this was very wonderful, you can say, for this teaching areas. Many apps were innovated, many good techniques, and you can say playway method. Like children nowadays, they are so addicted to these mobile.
Okay, did we lose him? I think we did.
Energy of the children towards the positivity. And children, they are learning so many maths in a fun way. And children, they are getting scored, they are moving to different these games and what can we say, stadiums. You name different stadiums. So like we can create different quizzes on Kahoot. Even Google Form is also a new technique teacher learned for taking this, you can say, formative assessment. Time to time, they are just throwing some questions through Google Form. It is auto-corrected. Immediately, the score is reflected, plus this merge cube and Khan Academy content, plus even Countingwell has also provided so much ready-made content for the teachers. So all these are just, we can say, like a bloom, okay, during these last 2 years, which was never happened. So this flipped learning and blended learning are really in use now. Teachers, they are sending synchronous and asynchronous, both the materials. So in physical classroom, they are providing these synchronous materials, plus asynchronous materials are also sent when the children, they are at home. So all these are just the use of technology itself. And teachers, they have trained themselves in just a short time. Just in 2 years, they have empowered themselves with so many apps like Nearpod, Padlet, Wakelet. So many apps are being used by the teachers to make these classes interesting and to make the maths fun.
Absolutely, sir. In fact, that is another very commendable aspect, that most of the teachers have become self-learned or self-taught, right? They have not gone through training to learn all these new technology tools. They have not gone through any kind of formal structured program to figure out how these things work. They have learned it on their own and they have made it work, which is extremely commendable. Wherever we go in the country, we have seen that even in the smallest towns, teachers have used everything from WhatsApp all the way to most complicated tools, right? Whatever is available to them, they have used it and they have made it very effective. So they have kept that whole wheel of education turning over the last 2 years. So yes. Great, sir. That's very great to hear.
One more thing I need to add. From past 7 years, I've been making mathematics newsletter in a hard copy form. And since 2 years, it's been a pandemic. So it's a virtual mathematics newsletter that we've been formulated. And it's in ebook form. So it's new challenge for us also to learn new apps and then formulate that newsletter. Similarly, we have virtual mathematics assemblies also in our school. And so as exhibition. So we have full Nukkad Natak virtually presented on that platform. And so as everybody, the size of the limit is not a problem because everybody can come on the virtual platform and have a look. So it is one of the benefits that we have it in our school.
Great, ma'am. In fact, that brings me to the last section of the show. And I would like to hear from all of you one innovation that you have made in your classroom, which is different from the regular chalk and talk learning. And since you brought this up, Smita ma'am, why don't you start with that? Why don't you tell us about this natak?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah. Though I'm not carrying the teaching it, that there are many. I basically believe one that we should use best out of waste in order to have it in our class, so that students can also. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, ma'am, you are. Your video is not showing, but you are audible.
Achha, okay. Give me a second. Sir. Okay, so basically, sir, right now, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Right. So basically, I prefer to have best out of waste. And for what I did is I took a pair of slipper, and in that pair of slipper, I put 3.
Okay, looks like she's having network problems. She's back.
Am I audible, sir?
Yes, now you are, ma'am.
Right, right. So I was on the topic that for experiential learning, I took a pair of slippers. One of the most innovative technique is I just put 3 holes in it, and I put a pair of pencils. It's just a matter of fact that I've used best out of waste in order to make a simple abacus for the small kids. One more thing that I did was in order to explain the decimals or fractions, both the concepts can be told in just one teaching aid. If we can make use of woods on a chart paper and we divide that wood in parts, we can use the string to make it balancing. So decimal and fraction can also both be learned.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's a interesting idea. So, Chaitali ma'am, this might tie in with what you were saying. Children don't know decimals and it scares them. So, having a piece of wood and tying it and trying to balance is all about fractions, right? So very interesting. So I'll take it over to you, Chaitali ma'am. What would be that one innovative teaching method that you used to help your students?
Since I have been teaching like 8 to 10 or 12 grade, so their maths is mostly abstract. So sometimes it's difficult. So for them to explain the calculus thing, why they are integrating, why they are differentiating, all these things. So particularly maths lab and that graphical presentation of those things, how the conic section looks like, why we are integrating, what exactly we are integrating. So all these I have explained them, and few of my students have tried to put it in form of graph, and they themselves explained it in the classroom. That was really interesting. They taught their friends in their way, so students were more comfortable in peer learning. So that is how I have helped them.
Great. Yeah, peer learning is a wonderful way to make children feel comfortable with the subject and also start feeling more confident between each other as well.
Yeah.
Great, ma'am. So over to you, Pooja ma'am. I know I don't have to ask you what is that innovative method. I want to hear all about your graphic novel.
That is almost done, and still it is under the process of, like, it has gone to NCRT and so many levels we have to do. I started my work 1 year back and developing the concept, and with the help of the art teachers, with the help of our other team, one of my co-members, concept building, concept creating, then creating all the cartoons and setting them with the flow of concept we have developed on comparing quantities, class 8, and that is quite a long chapter. So I'm hopeful that very soon it will be available. So it is still under process, and that was a great learning experience for me as well as for my team also. As a coordinator, I would say we tried all our, and we also evolved like anything, means because it is going to be wonderful for the children when they, because visualization is very important when they look at a certain topic as a comic book, and that flow gives always, I mean, that interest is always created, and you, and along with that, the formulas, answer keys, and everything is there on that. That was one of my like wonderful experience. And apart from that, we worked on STEAM integration. We worked on design thinking, lot many things. And STEAM integration also helped the students, like for congruence of triangles. I would like to share that we have done some projects integrating the worldly art using the congruent triangles, and we have like say we have given them a Padlet link and say them to upload all their like what they have created. So it was a technology integration, art integration, and their project ideas. We were able to get in one go. So lot many things we have done during that way. But what I feel that like that time is gone, but still everything what we have learned new will always remain with us, and that will go hand in hand, and that will always be. Like Countingwell is also providing a great platform, and all those students who are still associated with that, they keep on asking, and I'll try my level best that we should motivate them more and more, because your Countingwell is also doing like arranging a lot of competitions for them, so they are definitely interested in that. So we'll work with it.
Sure, ma'am. In fact, we are bringing a lot of courses as well on data science, which tells them how to use data handling in real life in the form of data science, right? And financial literacy and so on. So yeah, the whole idea is that we have to help children related to other things in real life, right? So for example, when you said worldly art, that was very interesting because it teaches children two things. One is this whole art form, which people don't even know about, right? And I've seen that those worldly art drawings, they're so beautiful, but I think that most kids are not even aware of that. So just to make them aware of it and then putting a mathematical context to it is wonderful.
Created a clock with the worldly art, square root clock with the worldly art. We have so many projects and like so many things we have with us, but when the time will come, it definitely I'll share with you. Performing art also, we have blended various art forms, like we worked under Ek Bharat Shresth Bharat. Haryana is paired with Telangana. We worked with that, and performing art, showing the angles with dance mudras, lot many other things, and financial advisor activities. So a lot of things go side by side. Performing art also, like I always.
Sure, ma'am. Please do share these with us as they develop. I'm sure that everybody here would love to see that, and I would love to put it up on the Countingwell social media as well. Let everyone in that education community take a look at what is going on, what are these innovations which all of you are doing, and I'm sure that everyone will benefit from it. So over to you, Vinit sir. What would be that one innovation that you feel, I mean, that you sticks with you, that you have done, which you feel that you will always remember?
Yeah, in EdTech tool, I think GeoGebra will work well while teaching the geometrical part, because all the tools are working so well. Just feeding the number will show you all the details while this mathematical constructions. Plus, I would advocate for this maths walk, which I talked about in the starting. Maths walk is really a very interesting thing I have seen among the children. For this, we need to visit different venues of the school, like playground, basketball court, whatever your cafeteria or hostel, whichever you find better, and try to find some mathematical concept used there. Maybe you are finding some shapes, angles, triangles, or like sometimes when we go to our field, we find the area of the field or perimeter of the field, and we ask the children, if this year we have 2,000 children in the school, maybe next.
I think we have lost him.
Okay, well.
Sir, we lost you for a moment in between when you were.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Okay. So this direct and inverse proportion can be taught. If this much area is required for 2,000 children, then how much area will be needed? It's clear?
Yeah,
Am I audible?
Kind of breaking, but yeah, I mean, I think we got the idea what you're trying to say, and I think that's a very innovative way of making children think about numbers or looking at maths wherever they go, right? So one of the things that we say that when you go out, you should be able to see mathematics in everything. So, you know,
children, they used to apply their concepts into the field, into the different situations, and they used to calculate, they used to take measurement. So they feel it also that it is applicable everywhere in the life, and they will have better connect with mathematics class.
Amazing, sir. That's wonderful to hear. So now we're getting to the last section of this show. In this section, I will do something very simple. I will say one word or one phrase, and I would like whoever I call out to give me 2 sentences about what they think about it. Only thing is, it should be apolitical. Please don't make any political comments. And second, please don't make any negative comments. So let's see how it turns out. First is the most, the topic of the, I would say at least the topic of the decade is NEP. So Vinit sir, what do you say? 2 sentences.
NEP is well designed, you can say, plan for the coming education, which will surely benefit the children. They will be competent. They will be, you can say, the expert of the mathematics for different concepts or for any other subjects as well.
Okay, that's more than 2, but yeah, definitely yes. It is focused on developing the competencies, and we hope that if it is implemented right, then we will definitely see that happening. It's a very long-term vision, but you know, if it is done right, then it will definitely change the way our children get educated. So Chaitali ma'am, next one for you, Vedic maths.
Yeah, Vedic maths is the ancient maths that we people, I think nowadays it has been using. Teachers are using it. It is really helpful for the student for quick calculation, and they can do error-free calculation, which is most important.
Great. So have you, or any of you for that matter, have you tried to integrate Vedic maths in your classroom? You have?
Yes, we have used. I think I have used it. I think most of us would have used it as maths teacher. It's a part of curriculum now, like co-curricular activity in mathematics, like in mathematics club and other activities I have included that, most of that.
Great, wonderful. Next, Pooja ma'am, trigonometry.
Trigonometry, what I feel is, for me, it was the most interesting subject till I was in school and at college level also. And it has a great practical approach. And what I feel that if they learn about the basic things, sine theta, cos theta, and all that, so they are clear about. But actually, they see it as a very difficult topic. But when they start understanding it actually, so they feel it most interesting and they're able to score well. I've seen certain students over the years that in the beginning, and especially when they do inverse functions in the class 11th also, they're very much scared and with heights and distances and all such topics. But when they actually understand the concept, it's very, very easy for them. And some projects they can create on that to understand the concept for that.
Great. And finally, Charu Smita ma'am, music.
So for that, love for music and love for maths is really similar. Entering into a maths class is actually integrating music. You won't believe I've made a rap also. So if you believe that I can share 2-3 lines with you if you feel like.
Please, yes.
I think my question has been asked from Charu Sharma.
I know, that's why it was
We
good.
can share the question. We can share.
I'm a music person.
like
I'm
to
into the
introduce
music.
something.
I'm singing for so many years. So creating the jingles and creating that music and integrating also and arrange many competitions for that. So it is really
So you
wonderful.
can't see that maths teachers are so much into this. We are already doing NEPs for so long. NEPs just now came.
Please share with
So
us.
it's been.
Please share.
It is just like 1, 2. I've been speaking 1, 2, 3, 4 in French. So un, dos, te. So math. Just give me a second. Mathematics is a difficult thing. I can't understand what is a missing link. Just give me a second. I'll just recall and just get you back. Till the time Pooja ma'am can sing a jingle for us.
Yeah, why not? Yes.
I will not sing a jingle, but yes, I definitely want to share the experience that like integrating the children have created the math songs. Children have, integrated the math jingles. So, we try to like inculcate and try to, make them aware that maths and music is not different. They are integrated, music notes and everything. So yes, definitely like we have organized online and offline competitions also, but definitely it really arouses their interest and they are more, they feel inclination towards and maths dance also, creating various angle forms and mathematical dance. We had a wonderful experience. Our children really done really well in maths dance also. So it was a good experience that I wanted to share.
And now I recall. Now I can come back.
Yes.
So 4, 3, 2, 1. Listen up, you all, cause this is it. The numbers we are making are so vicious. Mathematicians expeditious can be kind of scary. I hope my answers aren't radical imaginary. Convert percent to fractions. It brings me satisfaction. Like scientific notation, order of operations, mathematicians. Makes me expeditious, mathematicians. And when 2-3 lines, if the child speaks in the class, the child gets so excited about the class, like let's do whatever ma'am is saying, whatever she wants to explain. So I think a little bit of music, a little bit of humor, as Vinit sir said, a little bit of technology, and all the mixture of this can make the child interesting, and that phobia can be lost in the child's mind. So I think it is one of the vital thing that yes, music can also be integrated.
Absolutely, ma'am. And that was a wonderful song. I mean, I think this should be like the class song whenever the maths class starts, just like people
So
sing.
we do not have anthems for maths teachers. We should have.
Exactly. And this also shows that maths teachers are not the serious-faced, long-faced people that people expect them to be. They are the most fun teachers to be around. So great. It was great having all of you here. And I hope that all of you learned something out of this. All of you had a great interaction. I learned a lot and I enjoyed the conversation a lot. And I would definitely love to stay in touch. And please, all of you share all these ideas that you talked about, the websites and the graphic novel. I'm looking forward to seeing all of that for sure. So thank you, everyone. Have a great evening, and we will stay in touch.
Thanks a lot, sir. Pleasure being talking.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.